If you worked with other design tools before, you've probably used grids. If you haven't, it's totally fine. Grids essentially help us keep all the objects within our frame organized and distributed properly. To create a grid inside your frame, go ahead and select it. And then in the properties panel here, you'll see an option layout grid. Go ahead and add one by pressing the plus sign here. And now, as you can see, I have a grid inside my frame. There's a couple options in terms of your layout grid. We can change those options by clicking this little grid icon here. Right now I'm using a regular grid, but you can also create column grids, which are pretty common in web applications. So I can do a count of 12, and now I'll have a grid of 12 columns evenly spaced. You can change the color of your grid or the opacity here. So for example, we can set it to 5% here, and now it's a little bit lighter, so it makes it easier to see your objects within your frame. You can change the type to a center grid if you want to add spacing on the right and left. Or you can do something like a left align or a right align for your grid. The stretch option typically aligns your grid evenly throughout your frame. You can add a margin here as well, such as 20, and that's another way to add spacing on the left and right. You can do, let's say, a larger margin and use that as kind of guides for our project. You can also edit the gutter option here, so you can have bigger gutter here or smaller one. So feel free to play around with this and really find an optimal grid for your project. If you're working vertically, you can also use a row grid, and that will help you distribute your items along the vertical axis. For the main grid option here, you can also choose the size. So if I choose 1, and I zoom in, I can see I have a 1 by 1 pixel grid inside of my frame. You can have multiple grids by just pressing the plus icon here and assigning a new grid, such as, let's say, a column grid. So now I have both column grid and a pixel grid. You can hide and unhide them, or go ahead and just simply remove them from your frame from here as well. Another option to organize your objects inside your frame is to use what's called a ruler here. You can use Shift R to show it and hide it, or you can also toggle it from View, Show Rulers. One cool thing about the ruler is that you can use it to add guides to your frame by going over it and just clicking and dragging away and creating guides within your frames. While you're hovering over a guide, you can also use Alt to see exactly how much space you're working with here. Same thing goes for a horizontal guide here. To remove guides from your frame, go ahead and just click and drag it back into your ruler, and that will get rid of them. And that's how you use grids and guides within your frames.
Alright, thanks for watching this video, and please don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and also subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future UI UX videos. Also, if you're interested in learning how to design full complete mockups for both mobile and web, I've made a 6-hour complete design course with Figma, and you can check that out in the link below. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video here at Clever Studio.